That's what makes them so fun. All right, so we have had a lot of fun meeting over the last couple of weeks, talking to our young millennial associates here. What you see represented is everything from Director 700 to platinum and diamond and gold and silvers. I mean, this is all over the comp plan here. And it's been so fun to get to know them. I want to start by sharing one thing about each and every one of these wonderful people here. They got involved with this business the same way in the beginning that everyone does. Shocker. Someone that they love had a great experience, either with the product, with the compensation plan, or the community, and it caught their attention. And today, we're going to learn a little bit more about millennials, what makes them so amazing and unique and fun to have as part of your business. But it's also, I'm hoping to have you learn a little bit more about what to not underestimate about the millennial generation, because the group before you is very, very accomplished at very young ages. So let's get started. One of the things that I think a lot of people that are not millennials feel about millennials is that they have skills, we'll say, or that they're pretty proud of the skills that they already have, right? So one of the things that we wanted to talk about a little bit is, in actuality, most young people, you know, they get involved and they're scared just like everybody else, right? It doesn't matter if you're 22 or 82. Starting something new can be scary. And whether or not you have experience or not, you have to work on skills. So the question to the panel, and this is the way we're going to do it, is just free for all. So if you feel moved and inspired to answer the questions, grab a mic and feel free to share. Got it? Cool? All right. So share a skill that you had to improve to become an effective leader in your business.
You go, Marco.
So a skill I had to improve was reaching out and speaking to people. And things like being on the stage really wouldn't have been likely a few years ago. Part of doing this business is just getting out there. And if you're shy, some people, you know, it's very natural for them to be meeting strangers, and that's no problem for them. It's for some of us that'll take a bit of work, but it really is just practice. And the more you get to meet people, if you're shy at first, just keep attending the meetings, you know, get your other teammates to introduce you to people, and you'll slowly warm up to it. But the nice thing about attending these events is you get to meet more people, you get to practice more, and you grow. Have appreciated that.
For me, I think the skill that I needed to improve most was probably creating tools specifically geared towards people who are in this industry but also want to know more about this product. And for me, I'm a tools guy. I like to create something that will help empower people to be successful. So for me, I think if you have certain things in front of you, ASEA does provide many tools, and please use them. But it's also great to be able to create your own tools that will help your business and will help others in your downline and whoever you're encountered with. So I think creating tools and being that tool maker is something that I improved in my skill set.
So that's a leadership skill, right, Marco? Because if you see a hole, then you fill it.
Absolutely.
Right? But I am interested, tell me a little bit more about the tools. Do you design tools to attract a different group of people?
Yeah, so for example, I've created some things for millennials that I've used in my hometown, and recently in the past couple weeks, two young guys in their 20s joined my business, which was fantastic. And it was because, this is kind of probably going to get into some other ideas, but
get ready to turn off his mic.
You know, millennials are looking for something different. They're looking for something that stands out. They want to see a purpose. They want to see something that's going to push them forward as fast as possible. And they want to help people. So creating certain things in regards to that and promotions or something personal really does go a long way. So for me, that's what I would do towards millennials. And then also Spanish speaking. I have a lot of Spanish speakers in my downline. I created a whole bunch of different tools in Spanish just for them, just so that they could duplicate. And I think duplication is probably the biggest part about this. So creating tools that are specified towards duplication will increase your business so much more. So that's kind of what I would do.
So what was the skill was you had to learn how to create a tool?
Well, creating a tool and then kind of modifying it, getting people's perspective, because people's perspective is very important in certain aspects of your business. Because you'll miss certain things that you wouldn't, like, it's like revision. When you're getting a paper revised in school, for example, like you go and get it revised to make sure that it's good and doesn't have any errors. So I think improving on the fact that just always going to be need tools that need to get revised and polished, that's probably the biggest thing for me, I guess.
Cool, thanks. Alyssa, you were going to share.
So I had to learn the difference between addition and multiplication in my business. That addition meant me going out and getting a person and another person and another person, and that was all based on my skill set and what I was able to do. And multiplication meant that I would help someone who then could go help someone else, who could go help someone else. And so really it was realizing that the systems that are in place are there for a reason, and the tools that are in place that have been put in place by leaders in ASEA are there for a reason. And if you really want to grow your business, you want to get yourself out of the way as soon as possible so that other people can be empowered to go do it themselves.
That's, I think, really hard for people to recognize. You have to get out of your own way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Martin, what did you have to work on?
Yeah.
The hair?
Yeah.
Great
That's a
hair.
big thing.
Just to get
big
it
thing.
just perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's a big pleasure to be here on this stage beside you guys and in front of you. You know, my adventure with network marketing started 10 years ago, and I failed big time. The first 2 years, I learned a lot, and I needed to implement a lot of things to become better, right? We need to do a lot of mistakes to, you know, to get better in a way. So the most important skill for me were when I implemented the daily methods of operation, the DMO. You need to create new habits in your life if you want to have another result. Mm-hmm. So at that point of view, you know, my business changed when I implemented a new habit in my life. Okay, so it's actually quite easy thing to do, as I see it, but it can be difficult to switch habits.
I'm really
I
glad.
don't know if that's a specific skill. But
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course it is. You brought something up that I actually would love to hear from all of the panelists, the daily method of operation. So I think a lot of people have heard that it's just as easy to build a network marketing business as it is not to build a network marketing business, because the daily method of operation is not terribly intricate. It's not surgery, right? But it takes a lot of self-accountability. So I would love to hear from each of you on what 3 things are. What are 3 things that each of you do every day to build your business?
So, it's like, oh, okay. So 3 things that I do to build my business every day. Number 1 is personal development, because if I'm not becoming a better person, then how can I expect my life to change? And number 2 is talking to new people, prospecting every single day, And I actually do that. I read a book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, and basically the premise of the book is what is the one thing that will propel your business to be successful, and really it's talking to new people, right? Filling that funnel for us. And so I think that for a lot of us, that can be the most difficult thing, is to talking to new people. So I try to prioritize my day so that that's the first thing that I actually do, so that it's out of the way. Because that's when I have the most willpower, that's when I have just that energy and excitement about it, because I've spent the time figuring out what my goals are and how I'm going to be able to further myself. And then the third thing is follow up. Follow up with people, because there's the statistics in sales that 80% of sales happen between 5 to 12 contacts. And so really, if you're not following up, you're not growing your business.
So I have a really long drive every morning to my awesome JOB, and I have a lot of things that I start out the day with, but first of all, Monster Energy. Oh, so,
Maybe Rochelle should just take the mic from you. I had such high hopes for you, Keith.
So, for me, I have to ready myself to go talk to people. And so, before I put myself out there and talk to people, I need to get myself to a place where I can do that, and charge up call is where I start. I listen to as many testimonies, as many amazing stories. I usually start my day out in tears, like about 5:30 in the morning on my way to work. But no, I have to get to a place where I can reach people first, and then more Monster Energy, and then start thinking about my list and who I need to call, who I haven't called, and that's about it. Good. Is that 3?
It was 3 monsters, that was for sure. Morton, what 3 things do you do every day?
Number one most important thing is the personal growth. Feed your mind. If you're not feeding your mind, you do not have the confidence to, as I see it, bring it into action.
Absolutely.
So, secondly, keep in touch with the people that are running in your business.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're starting your business, you do not have anyone running, right? But in some point, you need to start involve people in your team. And so being in touch with leaders, number 2, 3, what could that be? Fill up your list of names. You need to have a growing list, and you can do that in many ways. You can do it in old school way, as I call it, name list on paper. It's a good way. And you can use a more modern way, social media, and create a consistently growing list with followers. So I'm just trying to do my very best to be a happy person, because do you know what? That attracts people.
Yeah.
So people want to be surrounded with happy, energetic people.
Yep, they do. They certainly do.
So I think that's the most 3 things that I think it's very important in my business. So yeah.
Thank you. Marco, what do you do?
All right, so first thing I do when I wake up, I go on my dashboard. That's the first thing. Every single day, go on your dashboard. That's the most important part of your business. If you're not on your dashboard every single day, you will not grow this business. It's important. It's your business, guys. This is a business. You gotta know the score. Yeah, exactly. You gotta know the score. In the beginning, like he said, you may not have any points, but you're learning. You're going on there. Okay, what does this mean? What does PGV mean? I have no idea. Okay, well, you have to contact your upline. These things are really important. The first thing is always going in your virtual office, being there. That's your home. You have to. The second thing for me is, like Morton touched on, is being in touch with your downline, being in touch with your leaders as your team grows, because you know, the biggest part for me is I'm always making sure my leaders have the help that they need. And if they're so close to being an executive, I'm gonna let them know that. I'm not gonna just let them hang there. So you need to be in touch with them. You need to be checking in with them, saying, okay, what do you need to get there? We need to help you. We need to see where you can go. So I think that's number 2 for me, making sure that the downline is taken care of and that they know that they have the support that they need. And the third one kind of goes back to what they said is, you know, personal growth and making sure you have that list and keeping it in your mind. And he said something really important about social media, which is so important now, that creating a following is one of the best ways you could possibly build this business. On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever social media you use, that's probably the third thing for me is I wake up, I check my Instagram, I try to reach out to people, you know, I've created a following. That's probably the 3 biggest things for me.
I think that's really important that you touch on that, because there's a lot of discussion about the pros and cons of social media, right? And I think one of the things that millennials have done really well is you've learned how to leverage it for its benefits, right? You're not going to go on there and spend all day on there. You go, you check it, you send a post. You're very methodical about what you're posting because you have kind of grown up in this technology arena that offers you a brand opportunity that people in my age didn't get, right? So, but I think it's really important though that you guys kind of demonstrate Facebook is not where you sit all day, right? How much time do you guys spend on Facebook every day? Just ballpark it. 30 minutes?
30 minutes at max. Yeah.
30 minutes, yeah. 30 minutes to an hour on all of your different social media sites, and there's, you know, all kinds of them out there. But I want you to think about that for a minute, because if you're spending more than 30 to 60 minutes a day on all of your social media outlets, it's probably too much time, right? Okay, so Allison, did you want to grab on the 3 things you do every day?
Well, I just want to mention real quick on the social media, I'd say rather than just going on the cruise, you go on for a reason. You're either checking in, communicating with people, specific people that you're trying to reach on Facebook, or you're expressing yourself, or go for a reason, and that way you're not just sort of cruising and
looking for cat videos or recipes. Or...
Yeah, it'll take your life. The 3 things. Charge-up call, very important for attitude and also just staying plugged in, building yourself, and also getting to know the other leaders and what they're doing and what's working for them. That's part of the self-development as well. Reading is very important, and you can do that over audiobook if you prefer. That's fine. Reaching out to people, of course, is absolutely essential. You don't build the business without that. So the people in your team, staying in touch with them, and also new people, and also friends. Don't forget the people who don't seem quite ready for ASEA yet, but staying in touch with them and checking in with them every now and then too.
Awesome, thanks Allison. So I loved getting to know how you guys all got involved with ASEA, and I'm really excited that, you know, you can jump in if you want, but the question that we talked about was, what was the defining moment for you when you decided to build an ASEA business, and how did your attitude and actions change after you made that decision? Because most of you here have been introduced to, around, involved with ASEA in some form or fashion for 5, 6, 7 years. But most of you have only decided to build a business in the last couple of years. So talk about the defining moment, and then what changed.
You know, I were approached by Oddman Berger 2.5 years ago, and you know, he invited me to have a look, travel here to Salt Lake City, attending a 5-year celebration, and to be honest with you, you know, travel to Salt Lake City, hearing about a product made out of salt and water. Oh. You know, so But again, I had a deeply respect for this gentleman, Hartmann Berger. So that was the reason why I traveled, okay? Please understand that I had a quite okay business running. So, you know, I were here to have a serious look on what this business was. So I met with the founders, and they impressed me big time. You know, I have never in my life met such skilled people, and at the same time they were down to earth, as we are saying in Denmark, and they had a big heart. You know, they have a different set of values that not many company has. You know, the product is also very important for me. It were totally unique. And I only see one problem with ASEA, and that is that the product is too good. Do you know what I mean with that? Well, you're going to be really disappointed tomorrow. The problem is that it's too good. What I mean with that is that people are attracting people that wants to have better health. 70% out of people attracted into network marketing comes because of time, money, freedom. And people are attracting people through product health. I see that can probably be an issue. So that's just a thought of mine. I want people to talk more about lifestyle, and in that way we can bring more younger people to the room, and we need that.
Absolutely.
Okay? I don't want to hurt anybody, but that's a fact. Okay? So we as a team need to change approach. Instead of talking product attracts sick people.
Or athletes.
Athletes, yeah. But if you're talking lifestyle attracts people who loves time, money, freedom, entrepreneurs, first movers, and so on. Yeah.
Great point. Great, Morten. Love it.
What was the defining moment for you guys? Melissa? Marco?
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, so I had been using ASEA for about 5 years before I decided to engage in the business of ASEA. I had experienced a difference myself in energy, in sleep, in endurance as an athlete. Incredible results. But I had no thought of building a business with ASEA. I had gone to college, pursued a corporate career, thinking that was what I needed to do. And all the while, I saw my mom over here building this incredible business. I saw my mom changing into this amazing person. Now, she's an incredible person anyway, right? So, always been incredible. But something my brothers and I would say was that she became an inspirational quote machine. I mean, so this woman was just personal development embodied. And I would go to some of ASEA events with her. And I remember walking away from those events and I said, they're all like that. They're all amazing. And so I knew that those were people that I could be around and I wanted to be around. And so it was about 2 years ago that I approached my mom and I said, do you think that I could do this? Do you think, and it was me approaching her. She just said, hey, this is here if you ever want it. But I approached her and I said, do you think that I could create the kind of lifestyle that you've created? Do you think that I could impact the kind of lives that you've impacted? Because I've seen it. When I went to those events, I saw all of those people come up to me and they said, your mom. And I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be the kind of person that impacted that many lives. And so that was, oh, don't cry.
So our defining moment has kind of two parts. So I'm going to let Rochelle start and then I'll give you my half.
My initial defining moment happened after a health challenge, and I got introduced to the product, and ASEA gave me hope when I was hopeless. And that was when I knew that I wanted to be able to gift that to other people. Keith has been a part of my life for 13 years, and we do everything together. And when I got on board with ASEA and was excited about this business, he was like, "That's your baby. I don't want anything to do with that." And I really struggled to build that business because I felt like I had lost my partner in that. And it wasn't until a regional event that he kind of turned things around for him, so I let him.
Nice.
Yeah, so she can tell you the best part. Like, we went through years of tests to no result. She felt terrible, always sick, couldn't be a mom, and ASEA gave her that back. So, I'll finish her part. I'm gonna tell you mine. So, I'm super stubborn, and I don't do anything the first time. She can tell me. So, I was going fishing, and there was a regional event that she wanted me to go to, and I wanted to go fishing. So, she begged and begged and begged, and finally I said, "All right, I'll go. But next week I'm going fishing." So I went, and I sat in the very back. And I listened to people's stories and testimonies and stuff, and they were all great. And Dr. Walker gave their story, and he talked about years and years of his crazy hours and his practice and all this stuff, and having no family time at all.
Right.
And I started to listen a little bit closer. And like she said, we have 2 little kids, and they're pretty much our world. So he kept going on about more and more time with kids and grandkids and stuff. And then he started talking about, I think it was Thanksgiving, that he finally got to just spend Thanksgiving with his family, his grandkids, his kids, everyone, and how big of a deal it was. And this is, I mean, I'm not sure what his age is, but dude was crying. And I was crying. And she was always crying. So he talked about this time freedom, and I, like I said, I wanted to go fishing. So win-win.
Yes.
Win-win. There you go. That was a defining moment. I love it. Thanks, you guys. That was just great. I think one of the things, though, about the Wheatleys that I just want to point out really quickly is when they had that defining moment, when Rochelle had the opportunity to become the mom that she wanted to be, and when Keith discovered that he could have a life where he could just go fishing, right? What changed? Well, one day at a soccer game, right? It was a soccer game?
Wrestling tournament.
Wrestling tournament. So they're there with their 2 kids at a wrestling tournament, and in between cheering for their kids, they're on the phone. And in a single Saturday, this cute little couple went to Director 700. In just like a number of phone calls, they went from Director to Director 700 because they had a defining moment that said, I want to go fishing and I want to be with my husband and be with my kids all the time. So things certainly change when you have that defining moment. So I appreciate you guys sharing. So you can see the audience here, and look, technically I'm putting myself in the audience category, right? I am not a millennial, right? I'm quite a bit older. I know. But one of the things that, yes, 29 again. So I think a lot of people probably ask you this question all the time. So maybe just a couple of you take a minute and answer. What advice would you give to someone on how to approach a millennial? And a millennial, again, is somebody between the ages of 18 and 34. That's a millennial. So who wants to tackle that? Marco.
Got you.
I know.
All right. So I've gotten this so many times. It's unbelievable. The first thing for me is that I hope you guys can agree with this because you touched on this as well, is lifestyle. So many people our age want a certain lifestyle. They want to keep up with whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it, with whoever they want to do it. And whenever I'm talking to anybody my age, I always portray and say, you can achieve the lifestyle that you want. You can do that through this business. And I have been able to do that through this business and leading by example. And for me, when I go and approach people and say that, they're like, is it really true? Can you really get the lifestyle that you want? So people our age, for the most part, are looking for a certain lifestyle. They're looking, like I said in the beginning, to help somebody. We're a generation of helping people. We love to help. If there's a purpose, we'll be there. You'll see many different marches, many different things led by millennials, because that's how passionate we are. So you have a product that can change the face of the earth, but not only that, you have a business that can change the face of this earth. And it's really important. It's really important. Just as much as the product's amazing, this business is amazing. And there are so many different compensation plans out there, but this one is fantastic. Let me tell you, it is fantastic. And you need to flaunt that. That's really big, guys, huge. And you need to explain that to millennials, why they can create an income. Now for me, I wanted to graduate college and be able to do this right after college full time, and I've done that, and I'm doing that. And kind of references back to the other question, but that was my point. I said to myself, I wanted to be able to do this, graduate college and do this full time. And I think most people can say that, wouldn't you want to do this right after college and want to live your life the way you want to do it, right? I mean, I think that's for everybody. Everybody wants to travel the world. You can do that with this business.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend.
Live life on your terms.
Can I add on to that? Of course. So, to add on to what Marco is kind of saying, that a lot of millennials want to create the lifestyle that fits into like the work-life balance, right? Where a lot want to be entrepreneurs, have that entrepreneur spirit. And I just don't see a better way as an on-ramp for an entrepreneur, that a lot of people will want to start their own business, but they have to develop products, they have to develop the marketing, they have to, and where do they get their upline, really? Like if you're going to develop a brick and mortar business, nobody gets an upline. And so I just see it as this incredible opportunity as this on-ramp to be an entrepreneur, because it shows all of these things about yourself that you have to change in order to become the kind of person that can be an entrepreneur. And so that's what I say is incredible, and to be able to show them that it's just a wonderful way to be able to express that.
As I see it, most people are not happy about life. So if people want to have a better life, they need to do changes in their life, right? So the way I'm approaching people is, first of all, to give a lot of questions, figuring out what type of people these young people are, right? And I'm explaining for them a way of creating a plan B. For me, a job is okay. A job is okay if you are happy about the job, right? Too many people out there are having a job only for one thing, and that's for surviving.
Yes.
I'm damn busy. I have a job. I am father of 4. I'm a diamond with ASEA. I'm happy for my job, okay? I'm happy for my ASEA business. And do you know what is really exciting? Is that imagine that you through a plan B can generate up to twice, 3-4 times more money that you are doing on your full-time job. Isn't that incredible?
That's incredible. Absolutely.
I'm doing that. But I also want you to understand that having a job is okay. I'm so happy. Okay, and if you're happy about your life, you will attract people. People are coming to me. We want to hear what you have. and just share it. This is a great opportunity. There is a lot of great opportunities out there. What people just need to know, if they want to change things in their life, they need to take another direction. And as pioneers, we need to give that information to people, because most people do not understand it. I hope that makes sense.
Very exciting information, Terry.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, you can clap. Do me a favor. Raise your hand if you have learned something new from our panelists today. Look at that.
Nice,
Yeah, it
nice.
makes a lot of sense to them. Way to go. High fives all around. Okay. So one of the things I think that we've all noticed, even here just in the last half an hour or so, is engagement level. Sometimes millennials are accused, not by me of course, but sometimes millennials are accused of having short attention spans. You're always on to the next thing. What do you think, what are 3 ways to keep millennials engaged in building a business?
I think you've really got to plug them in as best as you can.
Great point.
Encourage them to be on the charge-up call. Invite them to events. Be calling them and speaking to them. Sometimes you have to do that a lot, especially in the beginning, until they take ownership for themselves. But it really, sometimes it is a lot of hand-holding. And the attention span thing is, we're used to instant results, short videos, and lots of them all the time. So just keep with them is the main thing.
Great point.
I guess I'd add, obviously, social media, gadgets, cell phones, all of that is, of course, second nature for millennials, this generation. I find groups, online groups, that WhatsApp and other applications like that, and you can use anything that either you're comfortable with or they're comfortable with. I have a few of the apps on my phone for whatever circumstances, and it's a really good way you can plug your team into a group and the people that you're running with immediately, and that way you can stay in touch and communicate with them on a group level. Also communicate with them on an individual level. You can also record messages, you can send pictures that way, and it's sort of like a smaller, more personal version rather than large, just social media at everybody. And the other thing also is apps like that are really nice for communicating with people wherever they are in the world.
Great.
Oh, one thing about that also is just, especially if you're doing it in a group or a team, make sure that your team knows bad news goes up, good news can go everywhere. So if they have any problems, any concerns, any complaints, frustrations, a bad day, they can call you about it, that's fine. Any good news can go to everyone.
Yeah,
Can go down,
good
can
point.
go up,
Yeah,
and that's good.
good point.
Excellent comment. Thanks, Elsa.
I have some of the same things, plug them into the rhythm of the business. So that means the weekly calls. The most powerful thing is the big events. Big events gives the bigger picture. That was 10 years ago, that was through a big event I took my decision of going from a hobby business. Please understand, stop doing hobby, okay? Stop, it means on, off business. That doesn't work.
That's right.
But have a business and decide to spend time consistently. Yeah,
Great point.
that was another subject, but that doesn't matter.
You pay attention just fine, Morten. Okay, you guys. Here's something interesting that I've learned as I've gotten to know this particular group of people over the last little while. I have to tell you, they're incredible human beings. Absolutely incredible human beings. And I want to, And I think that millennials have gotten kind of a bad rap from non-millennials. And I want to share that what you have heard today should be embraced instead of indicted. And you have a group of young individuals here who are having success at ASEA, having success in their lives. They are successful, extraordinary human beings that are adding a lot to our lives as an organization and have a lot to add to your businesses. So one of the things I want them to share with you right now, what are some of the advantages that millennials add to a business?
So something that I have perceived is that millennials, most people, let me start off with most people seem...
What are some of the advantages?
Okay, got you. It's leading to that. It's leading. All right. So, for the most part, where I'm from, New York, many people know New York, and I'll tell you, it's the most skeptical place in the world. People say no all the time.
I have heard that before.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. New Yorkers are very hard. But I managed to build a business, right? Well, the reason is because in regards to millennials are more open-minded. You can go to a millennial and you can talk to them about a business and they'll be like, this is interesting. You can go to them and tell them about this product, they'll be like, that's interesting. I'd like to hear more about that. Now, if you go to a seasoned person, somebody who has been around the block, they're gonna say, no. This is a network marketing company. Don't talk to me about it. I don't want to know nothing about it. I mean, you'll find the exceptions. You're like, oh, it's pretty cool. But millennials, on the other hand, they want to find something. They're looking for something. You have something. That's the best part I think about millennials is that they're just so open to everything. So if you had the chance to talk to somebody, do it. Because more than likely, I'll tell you, 95% of them would be like, okay, yeah, sure. I'll definitely look into it. So that's I think, for millennials, the most important thing is open-mindedness. Yeah.
Anyone else want to share?
What's their story? Can they tell us their story?
What's your story?
Do they have a story? If you're going to talk to somebody, a testimonial, something they can say.
How are they approaching millennials? Maybe can I say that? Is that a fair restatement?
Right.
Well, I mean, sports. I would say for me, I approach millennials with sports because for me personally, I sprained my ankle horribly with my first game of soccer in varsity last year of high school, and my friend, same game, sprained his ankle 5 minutes after me. He wasn't on ASEA, I was on ASEA. I got better in 3 weeks. He didn't go back for the season. Mine was worse than his wasn't. So when I explained it like that, they say, wow, that's crazy. And I said, it was a testimony in itself. I didn't even do it on purpose. I was just told to take it. So I did. That was it.
So I believe I am in the business of serving rather than selling. So I do not have one particular magical thing that I say to every single person. I listen to what they need. And then I say, if I had something that could help you with that, would you be interested in taking a look? And that's about all that I need to say, because as long as they trust me as a person, as long as I have a relationship with them, then they're going to be open to hearing whatever it is that I can fill that need, because everyone is just people with needs, and if we can fill those needs, then we can help other people.
I
Great
totally
job.
agree.
Woo!
I think people have this mindset that they're all freaked out. They need to approach this differently, and I disagree. You need to meet people where they are, and you need to find out
That's right.
what it is they need.
That's right.
It doesn't matter age.
That's right.
Excellent, Keith. Allison?
Well, I agree very much with that, and meet people where they are, find out their need, and you can utilize anyone's testimonial. When I was first getting started, I really wasn't impressed with my own testimonial, and in retrospect, and now I've heard back from a lot of people who say, your testimonial really inspired me, it really made a difference for me. But at the time, I was seeing miracles from other people and their results. So I was like, well, mine's not a big deal. I'm happy for it. But my story, and I'll tell people, especially because people, especially young people, will say, well, I don't have any health problems. I don't need it. I'm good. Well, I thought I didn't have any health problems either. I was just curious. I thought, well, I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't need it. But I'm hearing all these really great things. I want to see what'll happen. It can't hurt me. I want to see what'll happen. My monthly period got better. I wasn't in the kind of pain I was used to. My skin got much better. I was feeling happier in general, emotional balance. My sleep got better. I mean, all these things that we, you think you're healthy, you think you're fine, but actually everyone's juggling problems and dealing with things.
Thanks, Allison.
That's great.
I think this story is very, very important. It depends on if you want to create a business of sales or creating an empire of salespeople. There is a big difference. If you are telling a story about you have received better health, you will get a response of, I'm not sick or something like that, right? So my story will typically be, if I could show you a way of creating more time, money, freedom. I have had an incredible experience with a company I met 2 years ago, and right now my business are exploding. So I'm seeking first movers, entrepreneurs, pioneers. That's the people that I want to attract into the business. So please understand me correctly, The product is, I have never seen a product like this. Never, and it does amazing things. But I'm not talking product. If I'm talking about the product, it's through the technology that is unique. So I'm combining technology with a outstanding company and the timing. Okay, so it's a totally different way of approaching people. And I'm not the hunter type of guy. I'm sharing ASEA as a gift. People should be very, very lucky if they are receiving the information that I'm giving them. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So for me, this is a gift, and I'm sharing it with people that I want to involve in building a network of distribution. So I'm thinking, right now I'm building in Poland, in 3 years from now, I will have a group of 30,000 people just alone in Poland.
Wow, that's great.
And that's what I'm sending out, I'm not talking about, I will help more people through a network. Okay? Thank you. I could continue, Lovely.
Thank you.
Oh, no, what is this? Oh, what is it? I don't know. I can go.
You want to go? Go.
I'll forget it.
All right, I'll take it from here. Hey, I would love to see by a show of hands how many of you learned something new about the millennial group today. Look at that. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. How many of you are going to be brave and go home and approach millennials? Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. They're not the elusive unicorns you all thought they were.
They can't handle it.
Our children are the exception, right? But yeah, go for it.
I will ask you for a favor. We can't do it by ourselves. We seriously need more young people in this company. So we are asking you to do your very best to attract people. And when you have attracted people, find it their curiosity, you need to put them in front of some other people. Don't run the meeting by yourself. Another very important thing, you have a comfort zone, right? Nothing happens in your comfort zone.
Right.
Nothing. Magical things happen outside of the company. That was wrong. You know what I mean, right? Magical things happens outside of the comfort zone. I tell you, 8 years ago I did my first international speech. I was so scared I pissed in my pants in front of 400 international leaders, you know. That was scary.
Oh my God.
You know, you please understand, it's good to be, you know, feel a bit.
Yeah.
I did that today.
It's so true. It's so true. Something that he said that was super important. You have to put them in front of us.
Yeah.
So if you have millennials, and I'm telling you this because we have a group on Facebook. If you have millennials, it's called Young Entrepreneurs of ASEA, YEA. If you have millennials, please have them add them to the group. This is a group for millennials so that they can feel connected, so that they don't feel alone. We did this on purpose because we know that this is a business that's going to develop. You're going to have millennials in your groups, and you want to have them partner with people who are going to support them in the way that they are going to be needed. So get them on a call with us, get whatever it is. Connect us with them, because it's super, super important. Facebook, obviously, every millennial uses for the most part. So that's what I would definitely recommend. If you have millennials in your team right now, get them plugged into YEA on Facebook.
Woo!
Got it?
Sounds great.
Good.
Thank you.
I want to throw something in with Morton as well. The power of two. Because if you can get a new millennial in your business, pair them up with another person that's, you know, in their interest group or whatever. Obviously, we do well as two, but try to promote that.
Yeah. Hey, if you're between the ages of 18 and 34, will you stand up?
All right. Woo!
Congratulations. Give them a round of applause. Fantastic. We're super excited that you're here. I want to encourage you guys to all get connected. Make sure you're on the Facebook Young Entrepreneurs site and staying connected with one another. I want to thank our incredible panel of millennials. Please give them a big round of applause.
Great job, you guys. Great job. Give them some hearts and love, you guys.
And I want to thank you for going home and being brave enough to bring more millennials. The information that you're going to hear tomorrow and the day after is an evolution of the company and of the product. And it's time that the associates also evolve with that product and with that company. And we're going to do a lot of that evolving with the millennial generation. So thanks so much for being here. We're super excited that you joined us for convention. Just as a side note, the general sessions tomorrow open. Doors open at 8:30.
This was just for our millennial panel right here.
At 9. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Thousands of people will be in the room tomorrow, but I'm glad you hopped on for this.
A picture of everybody screaming at home.
Okay, here we go.
Everybody get in the middle. There you go. See, that's what they do. Social media.
Here we go.
There.
Look at everybody, guys. Woo!
Fantastic.